Hey everyone, Combo here, back with another Empires and Puzzles video, and today we're going to talk about the Hero Coach program. This is something that is coming back into the game this coming Sunday, June 29th, and will be available for 3 days. We're going to talk about the Hero Coach program, who is eligible for Hero Coach, and what you should be doing right now to prepare for Hero Coach coming. Real quick before we get started, if you do enjoy this video or find it helpful, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and turn that notification bell on so you can be alerted of when I drop new content. So here I've got the forum post from Hero Coach when it first came out a few months ago. This will be the second time that it will be in the game. This is a recurring event which allows players to level their legendary heroes to 4.90 in exchange for gems. Costumes cannot be leveled up with Hero Coach. After selecting a hero, the Hero Coach will show you how your hero would look like at 4.90. So you'll get like a little preview of it before you actually click the button, so to speak, to get them up to 4.90. You can only select a hero to train, which is released earlier than 2 years before the start of the event. And in the live game, players will be able to train only one hero per event. In beta, you could do multiple, but you can definitely only do one when the Hero Coach program is live in the game. And you'll get this image of Tarlac looking like a gym buff, helping your hero get to 4.90 very quickly. And then, very important to note, the cost as far as how many gems it will take you, or rather how much it will cost you to get your heroes to 4.90. And you can choose a hero that is unleveled completely, still at 1.1. That would cost you 1,000 gems to get them up to 4.90. If your hero is at 1.50 or 2.1, it will cost you 815 gems. If your hero is at 2.60 or 3.1, it will cost you 593 gems. If your hero is at 3.70 or 4.1, it will cost you 334 gems. If your hero is at 4.80, it will cost you 37 gems, and at 4.85, it will cost you 18 gems. So I feel like for most players, the two most common options are probably the 1.1 for 1,000 gems, because they don't want to spend any feeders or any food or iron or anything like that to get them up to 2.60 or 3.70 even. So you're spending 1,000 gems to get them from 1.1 all the way up to 4.90. And then I think the more common option for a lot of people is probably going from 3.70 to 4.90, because at 3.70, you don't have to spend any of the more desired Ascension materials. So you don't have to use any of the 4-star Ascension materials. Your Damascus Blade, your Tome of Tactics, your rings, your tonics, your tabards, your darts, or your scopes. You don't have to spend any of those. And the gem requirement at 334 is really not that much. So I feel like for a lot of people, that is probably the way to go. But if you're somebody who has a plethora of those items, and alpha ethers and regular 5-star ethers or something that you don't have a lot of, then maybe it makes sense to level your hero up to 4.80 and then get them up to 4.90. I know some people were doing that, but again, I think the most common option that you're going to find, and probably the best value for lower level players, mid-level players, even higher end players, is probably going to be that option from 1.1 or 3.70. So decide what you want to do now, because obviously you're going to need to make sure that you save up enough gems come June 29th for this event, and so that you don't spend all of your gems before the event rolls around and you don't have enough gems to get your heroes to 4.90, because you do not want to miss this event. This is probably the best program in the game, in my opinion, and Empires and Puzzles has come out with a lot of good events over the last year or so, with the Costume Outfitter event, this Hero Coach event, the Instant Portal Summon, the Gem Summon Challenge. Lots of good programs coming into the game, more geared toward cheap to play and free to play players, so that we can get a plethora of 5 stars in the game. And then also these nice ways of leveling up your heroes at the cost of gems is way better than having to go through the grind of getting them to 4.90 for most people. So definitely very happy that this program is coming back. I think it's been 3 months since it was first released, so it looks like we're probably going to get it every 3 months, which is nice and something that you can plan around also. And you can see this in-game tooltip, which says Hero Coach, says in exchange for gems, the hero you coach will level up a hero you own. You can only train legendary heroes that have been released more than 2 years before the start of this event. I think I already mentioned that. Costumes cannot be leveled up. This is kind of just repeat information. If you go to the forum post and you go to that first post, you can see the amount of heroes where it says 69 fire heroes, 65 nature, 68 ice, 68 holy, and 68 58 Dark. These are numbers for the March Hero Coach event, so you do not want to click on those if you want to see who's eligible. There was a decent amount of heroes for each element that were added over the last few months, or rather for this event now that we're 3 months later. So I'm going to skip down to a different forum post which has the included heroes that we should be seeing in this Hero Coach event that are eligible. All right, so I just skipped down to this forum post from Oxide, who is one of the people who contributes quite a bit of information on the forum for stuff like this. So thank you for doing this. And you can see from the numbers here that there's about 35-ish heroes that were added. I'm going to click on each of the elements so that we can kind of quickly go through and see the heroes that are eligible for Hero Coach. And I will point out a few of them that I think are personally very worth it. Obviously, it's going to depend on your roster and who you've got eligible and available for Hero Coach. And again, remember that you will only get the main base version of the hero card up to 4.90. You will have to level up the costumes if you have costumes for that hero. The first one here that kind of jumps out to me is Alucard. If you do have his costume just came out last year, so is not available in the Outfitter event if you don't already have it. But if you do, he could be a good option. He's a pretty decent hero and has some pretty decent stats because of the fact that he just got a costume. Aslar, being a season 1 hero, could be worth it if you have at least his toon costume. Ideally, if you have his glass costume also. And this is kind of gonna go for any season 1 heroes. If you have their toon costume at least, then they probably are worth it if you don't have any other options that you like. Again, obviously, you will have to go through the process of leveling up their costumes though. So just be aware of that. But I would consider Aslar worth it. The next one on this list, in my opinion, that would be worth it would actually be Cupido. And I say Cupido because he can cast that mindless heal to 3 enemies, and we are still living in the world of Bernadette, unfortunately. So any hero that can cast any type of silencing effect or mindless attack or mindless heal or any way of altering Bernadette's special so that those paintings don't get cast on you, any of those heroes are worth it in my opinion, unless if they have like completely outdated and trash stats, which Cupidos are not great, so keep that in mind definitely, but could still definitely be useful when used correctly. Another interesting one on here is Flip. If you were able to pull his costume in the current summer event that we have going on right now, he is a pretty good healer and has some good attack stat buffs also that he can give to your team. Next one that jumps out at me is my girl Hathor. And Hathor is actually somebody that I am considering still. She's probably in my top 3 of heroes that I'm considering hero coaching for this event right now. I will go over the other ones that I'm considering as they come up in these lists, but Hathor is definitely one worth leveling, especially if you have her costume. Ignacio is another one who recently got a costume in that Costume of Elements program, so if you were lucky enough to pull him, then you could hero coach his main version and then just have to level up that one costume. Kagan is another season 1 hero that I think would definitely be worth using hero coach over, and I would recommend him over Aslar if you were to choose between one of the two. Khufu is another season 5 hero that has a costume, so if you do have his costume, then he could be a good option. Marjana is another season 1 hero that would be eligible and could be a good option for you. As far as any of the other fire heroes, I would say Sekhmet might be another one because of the fact that she's a season 5 hero. Any of those season 5 heroes that have a costume are definitely worth it in my opinion. They all have extremely high stats, so if you do have their costumes with that costume bonus, then they are going to survive much longer in the game and have much more of a shelf life than any of these other heroes. And then Tetasheri is probably the last one that I would consider out of these fire heroes for the hero coach event. Again, just because I didn't list off anyone specific does not mean that they might not be worth it. It all depends on what your roster looks like, who you have available to use in the hero coach program, and who you think would help you the most. All right, let's look at the nature heroes next. Amos, being from season 5, could be an option, although I would not consider him to be on the top of the list. El Nadaha is definitely an option for some people, especially if you have her costume. Elkanin being a season 1 hero if you've got his costume. Galapago from the Untold Tales event, definitely an option if you've got his costume. He's a fun hero. Hammer Tusk is an interesting one. I would assume that if you've had him for a while that you've probably already leveled him up because of his ability to give extra damage to everybody. But if for some reason you've recently pulled him, then he could definitely be an option if you don't have anybody better. Lady of the Lake I would consider to be an interesting option. Liana is another option, obviously, since she's a Season 1 hero, if you've got at least her toon costumes. Mayat was part of the Soul Exchange event 4 months ago, so if you never leveled her up and you chose her in the Soul Exchange event, or if you were lucky enough to get that second copy duplicate of Mayat, then you could level that up. Scrolling through the rest of the nature heroes, nobody else is really jumping out at me except maybe Tarlak. Tarlak is a Season 2 hero that adds a lot of attack up for your heroes. Great for Titans, great for Mythic Titans. So if he's been sitting on your bench and you don't have anybody else better to level up, then Tarlak could be a good option for you. Toxicandra is a very interesting one because she just got a costume in the Challenge event series that just came out like a week or two ago. So if you were lucky enough to pull her with her costume, then you could definitely level her up through the Hero Coach program. I know at least one or two of people in my alliance or in my family of alliances that are going to be choosing Toxicandra for the Hero Coach event, so she could definitely be a good option. And then not really seeing anybody else from the nature heroes, in my opinion, that would be considered like a top option for Hero Coach. Taking a look at the ice heroes, Aino is an interesting one because she just got a pretty big buff to her costume with the Kael Vela costume bonus. I don't think she's a great healer, but definitely could be an option. Athena, always a great option if you've got her with her costume, and her costume is available in the Outfitter event. If you don't have it already, you could get it next time that comes around. Bubbles was in the Soul Exchange event, I think either 4 months ago or 7 months ago. He gives that shifting miles attack, so he could definitely be an option. Guardian Hippo definitely is a great option for the Hero Coach event if you got her in the last Soul Exchange event. Head of Fairies is another Season 5 hero that if you've got her costume, she would be great. Krampus is a good option. Isarnia, because she's a Season 1 hero if you've got her costumes. And then, of course, Lord Loki, probably one of the top 3 heroes that I would suggest out of anybody available and eligible in the Outfitter event, especially if you've got his costume. And if you don't, it is available in the Outfitter event. You could grab that next time. He is an extremely fun hero to use, especially against Bernadette, because you can copy her paintings. Magni, because he's a Season 1 hero. If you've got at least his toon costume, he would be worth it. If Mickey has been sitting on your bench for some reason, then obviously Mickey would be a good option for you. Malena is another common one I think that we're going to see because of the fact that she just got a costume a few months ago in the Tower of Magic event. Odette and her dancing effect that she can use against Bernadette could be useful. And then Oni Wakumaru is somebody who I used in the Hero Coach program last time we had this in March, and somebody that I'm probably going to use again in this Hero Coach event. He is a lot of fun to use, the only hero in the game that has Undispellable Taunt, which is extremely useful against Bernadette since she dispels first. So obviously he's going to be able to keep that taunt so that nobody else can get the paintings applied to them. Perseus could be an option if you've got his costume. Richard, being a Season 1 hero, will definitely be a great option as well. Thalassa, as part of the Untold Tales heroes, she's available for that. You would need her costume though. That's not available in the Outfitter event, unfortunately, yet. So in order for her to be worth it, in my opinion, I think you need her costume. Thorn, being a Season 1 hero, would also be worth it as well. I know some people grabbed Waterpipe in the Soul Exchange event last time that it came around. Personally, I felt like he was a little too weak and his minions were too weak, but if you grabbed him and want to level him up, then he could be an option for you. All right, moving on to our holy heroes. Cleopatra being possibly the strongest healer in the game, and if you've got her costume, she would definitely be worth it. Esset just got a costume in the Season 5 event, so if you've got her with her costume, then she would be worth it. Guardian Gazelle, if you've got her costume, she would be a great option. Jakun actually just got a costume in the Costume of Elements. He would be a great option. June, being a Season 1 hero, is a good option. Kullervo, great. Kushanku is great as well. And Kushanku was in the Soul Exchange event 4 months ago, back in February. So if you have not leveled him up yet, then he would be great. Leonidas being a Season 1 hero would be great. And then not anybody else is really jumping out at me out of these holy heroes. There is Vivica, who would be a great option if you've got her Toon costume and want another healer that could potentially resist Bearded in her paintings because of the 75% resistance with the Toon passive. Zhuge Liang would be a great option as well if you've got his costume. Moving on to our dark heroes. Agrafena's an interesting one because I believe that she just got a costume like a month or two ago from the Tower of Magic portal, unless if I'm thinking of somebody else. But she could be good. Alfrike, if you've got her costume. Anubis is probably going to be one of the most popular heroes that gets coached in this Hero Coach event because of the fact that he was the top option probably in the Soul Exchange event that just came out last month. Aramis was also in that Soul Exchange event, so if you got him, then he could be good for you. Dark Lord and Dia-chan are both great options if you've got their costumes. Domitia being a Season 1 hero if you've got at least her Toon costume. Goretooth is an interesting hero. I believe he makes it so that an enemy cannot gain any mana for 2 turns. I've seen him used by some of my alliance mates. I feel like a few months ago I probably would have said hell, but honestly, her attack is just very, very weak in my opinion. Fun hero to use, but unfortunately, power creep has definitely had a big factor on her. Karnov just got a costume in the last challenge event as well, so he could be an option. I know some people grabbed Lepioda's costume in the last Outfitter event, so she could be good to use in this event. Ludwig was probably the most popular hero that people used in the last Hero Coach event because of the fact that he's available in the Fated Summon, so he could be good if you haven't Hero Coached him yet. Mortimer was somebody a couple rounds ago in Soul Exchange, which was available for 10 souls. So if you've got him kicking around, he could be good. Forces is another great one, especially if you've got his costume. Quintus being a Season 1 hero could be a good option. Sartana being a Season 1 hero. Turgruk is one of the most common heroes that top level players for Mythic Titans use. He's a bit of a niche hero for Titans and Mythic Titans though, so just be aware of that. Obviously you could use him in war if you were in a more lower level alliance, but probably not somebody who is in a higher level alliance would use. I'm sure there were a couple other heroes that I missed, although there was one specific one that I feel like I either didn't see or I skipped over, and that hero is indeed on the list, Mr. Pengi. I definitely think that he would be a great option for people also. So for me personally with my roster, I am looking at hero coaching a second Oniwakumaru, hero coaching Hathor, or hero coaching a second Lord Loki. Those are the 3 heroes I am currently considering right now for this current Hero Coach program. If you are looking for an opinion on who you should hero coach, definitely drop a comment down below and I would be happy to give my opinion. I'm also sure that some of my viewers would also give their opinions as well, but I would love to hear who you all are thinking about for this coming Hero Coach program. Excited for this to come back. Again, you definitely do not want to miss this opportunity to get a hero up to 4.90 for just the cost of gems. It will again be available this coming Sunday, June 29th through Tuesday, July 1st. So take advantage of it while it's here, and that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it or found it helpful, and if you did, hit that like button. Make sure you sub to my channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.